Hi, Gemini. I got jerked off of my last video when I was talking about being in the center of the spoke of the Wheel of Fortune, so you didn't get jerked off. So, appropriately, I did want to show the positions of the card in the last video before it flipped. I didn't get to do that. I didn't look at them yet, though. So, we're going to still look at them together. Continuing on. Alright, so three positions. Position one, let's show all the cards first and then analyze, I guess. Okay, so position one is the Knave of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. That's really weird. In these two decks, all right. I look at it like this. Sometimes, the reason I like to pull two different decks is because you have like two different chances that the same card can layer on top of each other. But there's also different interpretations of the same card. So sometimes you might go to a specific deck that has a card which is interpreted a totally different way with a totally different picture that brings completely different symbolic meaning to the situation, where maybe that message from that specific symbol on that card in that deck is the message that needed to get out there for somebody. Not that the traditional meaning of that card and that book meaning means this, so that has to be this in this life, and that correlates to the whatever that you had to learn with the proper technique and the proper cards in this deck, and if you don't know that, then you didn't do your due diligence, blah blah bullshit. Sometimes that's amazing if you can learn the specific book interpretations of every single card on every different deck. And then sometimes certain readers use a card and then don't even look at the card at all, and then just use it as a platform to jump off so that they can just go into their intuition and that can get going, and that's all they needed. Or sometimes you just needed to see that one thing in the card, one thing that connected the two, that is the big omen or signpost there. So I mean, these kind of look like the same. This dude's like, I mean, one's pentacles and one's wands. But this guy's like waiting for his work. He's like sitting there working so hard as it does. Shit, when you go out and you rake or shovel snow or do garden work and you're bent, you have like a tool that's maybe not exactly right on how you're bending over. I mean, coming from somebody who's been hit by a cab on a bike, like, I'm a determined little bugger, to make my body strong again after everything I went through. But, sometimes I'm extra sensitive doing certain things. And I can only imagine if you had actual back pain, or you're doing the same movement over and over and over and over trying to accomplish something. And I mean, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be back. It can be typing a lot, when you write a lot, when you do something a lot and you get that like break, your muscles start to tense up in one way from doing something too much. You need to slap things out and take a break, or take that moment off to wait for the things that you've been working for to come. Take the day of rest off from the gym so your muscles can grow, kind of thing. Okay, let me show the rest of the other two piles so I don't start yakking about these before I even see what else we have. All right, middle pile, we have the King of Chalices. That's the King of Cups. And the Ace of Hearts. Gemini. Okay, and then third position, we have the Eight of Wands and the Lovers. So, let me see. Give me a moment. my. Okay, so I don't know if I almost want to read these as a story completely rather than layered on top of each other. So let me just start to talk. All right, so you start with, like I was saying, with this guy. And, you know, his back's hurting. He's been working in the rain. He's waiting for his pentacles to grow. He can see that they're starting to come up. All his hard work has not been, you know, it's totally, he can see it coming out of the ground, having fruit. It's just not quite big enough to pluck. And he's not going to jip that time and all that effort that he put in and pluck it just a little too soon. Perhaps in the past, Gemini, you've plucked your fruit too soon. And it was sour or poison. You know, you acted, the Knave of Wands is a younger energy. So he jumps into the fire. This could be a he or a she. And it doesn't necessarily mean a younger person, but this could be a younger person in your life. Or it could be you acting with a younger energy. Or being in a situation where you're a little more green. Therefore, you feel like in that situation you have a younger energy. This could be work. Perhaps you feel like you don't want to jump into a relationship because you feel like you have to wait for you to have your big raise. And then you can prove yourself and you'll be wanted and you can get in a relationship. But that's the young way to think. Somebody's going to love you for where you are now. And that fruit will be plucked by both of you if you're both in each other's lives when it's meant to come. Not because that person's going to wait until you have the fruit and then come into your life. You don't want that person. That's the person waiting to just eat your fruit and not help you with a little bit of the work. You want to have someone around that's there for all that work so that, you know, or at least somebody who's aware of all the work that you've done so that when they eat that fruit with you, you both enjoy the juiciness and the sweetness of it together rather than the sourness of taking it before it was time. So I feel like you've learned from this. So this is either something that's happened to you or it's something from the past. So you've learned from jumping into the fire too fast. Plucking your fruit too soon. Getting yourself all sassy and hot and acting upon it maybe where you shouldn't have, kind of thing. Okay. I'm going to go with this as a love reading, Gemini, because you have the Ace of Hearts here. You have that. All right, so that's a little bit of work. Maybe you're worried your work financially is making you feel grounded. Maybe you want to feel more grounded to start a relationship with someone. Stop worrying about that shit and get in a relationship if you see someone that loves you because they see how, you know, how hard you work and how secretly sexy you are under that getup that you have when you get home. You know? Because then you have the king of chalices. So this is like a man that's intuitive. I mean, it can be a masculine energy in a woman. But it's that masculine emotion. That being in touch with your emotion and being completely in control of them. Not because they're blocking them. But because they've experienced them. That he's looking in his cup. Look. He's aware of what he's been through. He looks at his past. He looks at the relationships he's had, the accidental shit he's gotten himself into, where he doesn't want to go again, what he wants, what he doesn't want. And he's looking at all those circumstances in his martini glass spinning around. And, you know, he's ready to take a drink out of his elixir of life. but it's a makeup of everything that he's gone through. And his balance that he has is because of his experiences and his consciousness between what he's thinking and how he acts and how that connects to his heart. He's not just thinking and all logical, and he's not just about being grounded and getting through life and having the job, and he's not all like drama queen. He's a nice balance. He's the helper. He's the father, the one that people go to for advice because he has empathy for his subjects, and he takes their feelings and where they'll be with that decision into consideration. Looks like his decision is around the start of a new relationship, opening your heart up to something brand new. That mixture is inside your little pot here of everything you've gone through and circulating around. You need to take what that is and let it all go and explode out. Let the bad stuff go. See it leave you. See it leave the others. Thank the places you've gone to know and be able to recognize what you want and what you don't want. And let this rose unfold slowly. You don't rip open the rose. Layer by layer by layer, it opens up with the sunshine as you open up about who you are inside and that beautiful, complicated you, Gemini, that you are. You are definitely a rose. And you're also this, because we're getting to 12 minutes. This is the Gemini card, by the way. The 6, the lovers, the decision. As I have, see, I'm getting into the cards here. And this is the decision to change. Infinity. To leave shitty behind so that you have room in your arms to take the better stuff with you. You know, if you're going to go somewhere and you expect to buy a lot of awesome things on that vacation, you take